What is going on, guys? MMA Island team, we got the fight picks, and we got Darren Elkins taking on Luis Eduardo Garagori. A couple of things to mention about this one. Darren Elkins, last time we saw him was on the Overeem Harris card, the card that haunts my memories forever. It's my almost perfect card.
This close.
He had a quote-unquote good-ass fight with Nate Landwehr.
They should have won.
And so yeah, that was last time we saw Darren Elkins. Last time we saw Luis Eduardo Garagori was he actually got submitted by Ricardo Ramos. And so we saw him in the I don't know why, for whatever reason, the Bandone fight sticks out of my memory. That whole card sticks out of my memory.
The Uruguay card. That card was whack, bro.
Yeah, I don't know why. For whatever reason,
stacked fight night card with Perry, Luque, Latifi, Esdemir, Shevchenko.
Maybe that's why. Luque Perry. That's probably why. Either that or the Volkan Oezdemir Lir Latifi knockout. Either way, we're talking about Darren Elkins, Luis Eduardo Garagori. Luis Eduardo Garagori gets his first loss in general against Ricardo Ramos. And one thing I want to mention, Ricardo Ramos, we obviously saw him against Lerone Murphy, who for the most part was winning the fight. I remember I had Lerone Murphy as an underdog in that one, and I saw Ricardo Ramos kind of dominating on the ground for the most part. And then out of nowhere, Lerone Murphy gets top position and knocks a dude out in the first round.
That was crazy.
I was so happy. So the point is, man, I don't know. Like I don't put too much stock into Ricardo Ramos submitting him. I think he's a very, very talented BJJ guy. There. And getting submitted by him, I don't put too much stock into that. And you're looking at Darren Elkins. Last few fights, man, you got to put some stock in a lot of these because he's getting unanimously beat by Landwehr, unanimously beat by Ryan Hall, getting knocked out by Ricardo Ramos.
Landwehr. Yeah, sure.
Unanimously losing to Alexander Volkanovski.
Okay, that's undisputed.
Yeah,
he got demolished.
But yeah, well, he's the champ, so I would assume so. And then you're looking at the fights before that. Obviously, had the crazy fight with Mirsad Bektic, split decision win. Dennis Bermudez. It's just I'm looking at these fights, and this is something that I kind of try to take into play when I'm picking these fights. Is I look at the fights that kind of stand out to me, and can you really? How do I word this? When you're looking at the guys who you think are going to win, look at their wins, and is it like something that's like you could see him losing after getting that win? If a guy goes out there and knocks out a top contender, it's like you can't really see him losing. Very like you can't really put that into play with him losing. And then you're looking at submission wins over Michael Johnson and then split decision wins over Dennis Bermudez. It's like I don't know, man. So if I haven't made it too obvious already, I'm going with Luis Eduardo Garagori on this one. I just think that the only way really Darren Elkins is really going to win the fight is if he either pieces him up to a decision or if he can take him down and submit him. And I don't really put too much into Darren Elkins going down and trying to submit him. Obviously, Darren Elkins hasn't really been the craziest of submission. He hasn't really been going for submissions very much in his UFC career. I think the last time he got a submission, it was the Michael Johnson fight.
Yeah.
But he has a 1.2 submission average on his record with 2.43 takedowns per minute. So being that sort of wrestler style, trying to get Garagori to the ground, we're looking at Garagori. Obviously, it's only in 2 fights, but 53% takedown defense. And having that record that he's got, and obviously, as I love to mention, it doesn't mean everything. I don't know, man. I just think that Garagori, this is a pretty good fight for him to bounce back on. Is a big drop in competition with Ricardo Ramos and Darren Elkins. I think Darren Elkins is kind of slowly getting to the end of the train here, so I just think that I think this is a good pick. I think Garagori for this one. It's not my lock of the fight. I could definitely see Elkins kind of just picking him apart to a decision and kind of using that wrestling style. Maybe Garagori can't defend the takedowns, and who knows, man. But I think for the most part, I think Garagori is going to be able to be winning the striking exchanges, defending the takedowns, and kind of just piecing him up to a decision.
Well. Seems like we're going the opposite way of last week because I'm getting out there. Now I'm going with Darren Elkins. Now, to be fair, I did debate back and forth a lot on this fight because back in my early Going Deep MMA days, from the very start of the page, I was breaking down the Uruguay fights, and I wanted to do a little bit of research onto Luis Eduardo Garagori, and ever since then, I've been a little bit partial towards him. But then I realized that maybe he's not so good. Maybe he's not that great because I thought he was really cool because that was back in the day where I wasn't as good as analyzing tape as I am now. I just saw his submissions and like, wow, this guy's an awesome fighter. Like he's piecing up these guys. Now I'm looking at the competition he fought on the regional scene. It's just simply abysmal. He's never on the regional scene. He can crush it for the most part. But I have to respect his skill set. I mean, he is very solid on the feet, and I guess he has a good submission game, but I think that was just because I think the submission game is more of smoke and mirrors because like in the UFC, his submissions and his ground game really have not held up. Now, against Darren Elkins, yes, he's on a 4-fight skid, but Volkanovski, Ryan Hall, Ricardo Lamas, and a win over Nate Landwehr. I don't care what you say. The judges only scored the fight for Landwehr because Elkins was bloody. That's one of my
blood, sweat, and a good ass fight.
Yeah, I don't think Luke Meth Walker won the fight. Anyways, Elkins, we know what he is actually kind of good at. He is a very solid wrestler. He has good top pressure and a solid ground game. And when he gets a chance to show it against opponents who are not superior grapplers to him, like Ryan Hall did, just exposed him on the ground, he actually ends up doing pretty well, like he did against Michael Johnson. Now, I think that Elkins is a much better grappler, wrestler, top pressure fighter than Luis Eduardo Garagorri. I'm just worried about the thing that made me debate is Elkins' penchant to get into brawls. Like, you will always see Darren Elkins getting busted up and bloodied because this man has more scar tissue in his face than the Diaz brothers combined. He is always bloody. And that just sends him, every time he gets the blood on his face, all the game plan goes out the window and he goes into tribal war mode, just goes all the plan out the window, just throws heat, gets into scraps. That's the fight that Garagorri can win. But if these guys are both technical and they are both executing their game plans and using their skills to the best of their abilities, I'm going to have to favor the grappling, the top pressure, and the submission game of Darren Elkins because Garagorri is a solid striker. But Elkins has been in there with better strikers and not been finished and has been able to hold his own with better strikers. So, again, this fight is close. And if this fight goes into a brawl, I do lean Garagorri, but I don't think it will. I think Elkins knows that if he loses this, he's at the end of his UFC tenure. He's fighting for his job, and I think he's going to win. I'm going to go Darren Elkins by decision.
All right, another disagreement. I don't know. I think you're right. It really does come down to the game plan of Elkins. And I think that for the most part, the striking exchanges, in my opinion, I think are going to be dominated by Garagorri. And I think that I think it really comes down to can Elkins take down Garagorri? Because if he can't, I really got to lean towards Garagorri there. So it's tough to say. We'll leave it to the fight as we typically do, as we always do. And as we always do, when we got a tie, you guys got to break it. So make sure you guys are letting us know in the comments who you guys got. And man, kind of a diehard fight card for this one. Not too many huge names, at least. It's a pretty decent main card, but we want to make sure you guys are just checking out all the other Fight Pick videos because we got all of them, man. We're not leaving. We're not going anywhere.
We are not. We're here to stay.
So, yeah, make sure you guys are checking out the other Fight Pick videos, as I always say, and I'm going to put a little spot between it just so I can get the outro to flow really well, and I'm going to start saying make sure you guys are liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and checking out the other Fight Pick videos.